Hi, I'm Christian Guzman, and I approve of the Board Shorts and Banter podcast.
Should I do the music, Josh?
You can't not give him the full experience.
Come on, then. What is good, people, and welcome back to the Board Shorts and Banter podcast. Today, we have one of the UK's best men's physique competitors, Mr. Reece, not Pearson, but fit. So, Reece, thank you very much for joining us today, mate. How have you been? Let us know.
All good. I'm blown away by the production quality already. This is way better than the podcast I do.
Yeah, what's it called? Like a yee or something?
Yeah, I don't know. Something that I think you guys tried to copy and just get like less views. I like the name, but it's very secluded towards men's physique guys. And
well, that's why we've got the shortened down version, BS&B.
Okay, yeah, no, I get that. Well, either way, I appreciate the invite from Croggan. Tom, I don't know if you wanted me on, but I'm going to guess maybe it was like pass-through clearance.
I had no choice, mate.
Okay, so
like,
Tom wanted Finn.
I wanted Finn personally,
and
then when he's
doing like a double, like getting us both on.
We're going to do that. I have an idea for the future that I'm going to run by. I don't know if I've ever spoke to you about it, but anyway, we'll talk about it later on.
But like, you guys are friends though. Like, I'm just the outsider here.
Yeah,
you know, I'm just here along for the ride. You know.
Yeah,
me and Reece are like, haven't we? Like, Tom, I don't think we've had more than maybe 3 or 4 conversations
in person. We've always had like short conversations 3 or 4 times, but it's been pretty chill, mate. It's been sound. You know. So
whereas like me and Reece, we go way back. We go all the way back to 2020.
Yeah.
Really? Where did you actually meet?
Well, Reece can answer this because he told me about it the other day because I couldn't remember.
Yeah, so it was actually the hashtag Mecca. I got into like bodybuilding when Josh was like, Josh, you were like competing as a junior, weren't you? And I remember, so Kess trained out of Ultraflex Leeds, and the only people that I knew that really competed were people through that gym. So I followed Kess, and then, or Quace Butt, however, it's Kess, isn't it? That's how you pronounce it.
It's Kez.
Kez, is it Kez? Oh, okay, I'm sorry, I can never pronounce it. And then I followed Josh from Kez. There we go. And then it was a case where I went away on holiday and I followed him and he followed me back. And I was like, oh, this is really cool. A good guy's following me back. This is when I had like 1,000 followers, way before I'm a social media influencer. And that's pretty much all I am now. Anyway, moving on. Basically, I went on holiday and I came back from the holiday. And Josh came up to me and said, like, it was when COVID 2020, you know, and lockdown, all that sort of crap happened. I got back like maybe 45 minutes before a deadline. Like if I didn't, I'd have to isolate. And Josh came up to me and went, oh, mate, good that you came back in time. Like you would have had to isolate or whatever. And I laughed and I was like, oh, yeah. And I was like, wow, he watches my stuff. That's a bit wild. And I remember being really taken back because I looked up to Josh because he was in the game for longer than me at this point. And now, I mean, Josh is a pro and I'm just a bro. It's like it became too much. So I was like, yeah, sound. But yeah, so that was basically that. Me and Josh have known each other for a few years, and then I don't really know when we actually became like. So, like I said to you in person, Josh, I class you as like a good friend, but we just don't talk to each other enough. But we've known each other and we've been quite somewhat close, considering we speak 3 times a year for probably the last 2 or 3 years.
Yeah, I think I've known you for 5 years.
Yeah,
man,
that's a long time. That. I've known you longer than I've known Annabella. Really, we should be living together.
Yeah. Have you known Reece longer than you've known me?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. Well, this is your podcast now, Reece, mate. Annabella's out, and this is now your podcast. Goodbye, lads. I'm out.
Oh, crikey, what a productive 4 minutes.
And right, Reece has now made like the same amount of progress in that 4 years since he's known you than you will make in your entire bodybuilding career, Josh.
Oh, well, should have made way more than that.
Way more. If I make that progress over the next 40 years, I will be delighted.
Yeah, but
it'll be a miracle.
Josh, you're natural, so you're going to be living forever anyway. So you've got a million years to put on muscle.
What makes you think Josh is natural?
Oh yeah, I actually know about you being exposed. You've got to like midday tomorrow, and then if not, then that's it, right? I'm going to beat you up and I'm going to explain.
Oh, Reece.
Am I allowed to say that? You did have
Yeah. You can say that.
Is there anything that you guys don't want to speak about?
It's board shorts and banter, mate. It's fine.
It's just banter, yeah. But don't worry, I'll do anything that you want before midday tomorrow to stop me from getting exposed. Cheers, bro. Oh dear. Anyway, Reece.
Yes.
I'm taking you. Reece, tell the people that don't know you, which won't be many, tell them who you are, what you do, and a little bit about your competitive history.
Okay, so I'm Reece Pearson, go by ReeceFit. I technically claim I'm like an influencer at this point, but I don't really like to be. I never really wanted to be. I always thought I was a little bit rogue, and I was like, I'm not going to be one of those dickheads who post themselves on social media, but I now do. So it's like I failed. I've become everything I once hated. But no, so I to be fair, before social media, I always just posted myself online. I had my ReeceFit Instagram page from like age 14, and I used it more as a bit of a log for my own like progress. And I never used to and I still don't, but I don't really ever think about what I'm going to post. I just post my same sort of stuff every day. And then so I post my training, post my physique, and then I went to Ultraflex Leeds. That was my first proper gym, and I was always the guy that in my teens I was like in pretty good nick. Like I always had pretty decent delts, and I was just trained in a pure gym where I looked like, if you're in a pure gym and you're like less than like 15% body fat and you've got like you're 175 pounds, you look like you're the biggest dude in there. So I used to always have people say to me, "Yo, bro, you should compete," and I was like, "Nah, that's gay. I ain't doing that." Like, no chance. That was my mindset in my teens. Up until maybe like 2 or 3 years ago. I was going to say maybe still now, but I can't say that because I have clients who go on stage. But I was like, nah, I'll hold off. And then it wasn't until I went to Ultraflex Leeds, so this was like 2019, 2020, that I was like, okay, cool. I'm in a gym that's a bit more serious. I was seeing people that I was following. Finn got into coaching with AJ, and I was like, okay, cool, because me and Finn met, we were training together. And I was like, right, I'm going to compete. I looked at like PCA, I saw First Timer Show. I remember screen recording Ben Bray's I Walk and also Josh Croggan's I Walk. Because I thought for some reason that was important. So I was like, I'm just going to learn how to pose from just watching other people. And then literally I had my first competitive season in 2021. I finished uni then and went straight into a prep, which looking back at it was probably not the best decision because it was like, finish uni and then straight into a prep while also the first 4 months of the year were in lockdown. So I was like, fantastic decision. Just chasing that dopamine that you do when you're like 21, 22. So that was that. And at this point, I'd already trained for like I trained for 9 years. So it was 9 years of training. I always got pretty sliced and lean for like a good majority of like my younger years. And I stayed in that condition. And during that sort of build up to me getting on stage, I was having people message me saying like, "Yo, bro, what are you doing how are you looking like this?" So I was like, "Oh, clearly I can start probably selling training plans and starting coaching." So it was quite a nice sort of mix because genuinely about a year before I stepped on stage, I was speaking to my mum in panic thinking, I'm going to be done with uni in a year and I have no idea what I'm going to do because it's either I go down the master side of things and just get in further debt, or I try and pursue coaching because I was kind of like coaching like 5 to 10 people, but earning next to nothing. So it was like, let's just see how the next year goes. And then literally I skip a year ahead. I competed, I did my first season, did pretty well, I'd say, like relatively. And then it was a case where I had like a good amount of followers. I had like 40 to 50 clients and I was like, sick, this is where I am now. And then it's just been a case of like consistent progression from then, I guess, which, yeah. I don't know, maybe I break that down. That's an introduction to kind of like how I got into it.
I think that's a pretty perfect introduction. How many years ago then did you compete?
So it was
like for the first time?
Yeah, 2021 was the first time I competed.
So you've only done 2 seasons, haven't you?
Yeah, I find a lot of people always are slightly like surprised by that because I feel like people think I've been in the game of like competitive bodybuilding like for a long, long time.
Yeah,
because I look way older than 25. It's crazy. No, I'd say more so based off the fact that like it's not even been 3 years since I first competed. Like 3 years ago,
that's actually mad.
Yeah, I was still a first timer. Like, I was literally a month out. So yeah.
So
crazy.
So it's been 3 years. You were 22 when you first got on stage, and you obviously did juniors. How did you do in your first season?
So first show, first time as PCA, September 1. That's like notoriously like the best first timer show. And I remember like speaking to a few people, and this was when like first timers was like, there was only about maybe 8 to 10 PTA shows instead of them being every single weekend where they're just raking cash. Fair play.
It's mad now.
But yeah, there's like 10 shows a year. I didn't even know what PCA finals was, so I just signed up to that in January, and I was like, oh, sick, let's just do that. And then it was a case where I did that. That was the first show. I won my class and then won the overall, which was quite cool. So overall at the first show, that was my peak. Should have really retired. It's just downhill from there.
All downhill from there, mate.
Yeah, and I say that it kind of was, because I wasn't really that happy.
It was.
No. I literally I got the overall and I was like, sick, cool. I expected that. It was like, it wasn't like I really even enjoyed it. It was just like, sick, okay, cool. That's what's happened. And then I did the Arnold's a week later. Got beat by Eagles by 1 point. I'm going to sound so salty. The only guys in men's physique with 1 point in between us in the whole of the amateur realm, like the entire amateur men's physique guys, from first to second, there was more than 1 point, and me and him were 1 point. They moved me to the middle. I held the middle. I finished.
Could have been anyone's, mate.
And I was like, I've beaten. We everyone thought I beat him, and then it was like, no, I didn't. But looking back,
Reece,
I do get why.
How many people was in your class?
3 people, so it's not. No. I'm going to be honest and say the guy that finished third was way, way, way better through the rear than me and Eagles. Way better.
Really?
Yeah. Me and Eagles was like 8 weeks out conditioning, and I just had my notoriously soft lower back in comparison to like how lean my front was. So it was like the guy who finished third was way better from the rear because he was tiny and he was actually like dry and peeled. So
how old was Jack then? He was probably like 14, something like that.
Yeah, I think he had like primary school or something. He came from like
He wasn't old enough to go in the teens class, so they just put him in junior.
For fuck's sake.
Yeah, so that was that. And then I did PCA finals. I qualified for PCA finals. Genuinely, I was only ever going to do 2 shows. That was the kind of plan. But I was like, I won my overall. I won an overall and I won the junior class. So I might as well. And then going into finals, being way too cocky, I was literally like looking at the juniors that I'm going to be up against. And I was like, I can beat all of these. And I beat every single junior that competed that year, forgetting the fact that Axel had qualified the year before. I didn't know, but couldn't do it because of COVID. Josh, you were going to do it. It was
so.
Against him,
I'll explain what happened. The previous year, 2020, the PCA did a Open British Finals and then a first timers show, and he entered the wrong show. So he entered first timers, right, and won first timers, and then forgot to enter the UK Open.
Okay.
So I did that.
Yeah.
And I won, but obviously, if he'd have done that, he would have won. So I consider myself very, very lucky indeed.
Yeah. So basically, I looked and I was like, there was Cam Wales who won an overall, and I was like, he's okay, but I'll beat him. I did. Luckily, thank God. I wouldn't be competing now if I got beat by Cam Wales. So I finished second in that lineup, but it was a really, really good lineup. Like I know everyone always says like, oh, the lineup that I was in was the best that I've seen, but genuinely for a junior PCA like British final lineup, I've had clients in every single one since, and that, in my opinion, was the best. Me, Axel, a guy who does 2 bros now. 4th was Cam, 5th was Fraser, he came pretty close to a PCA pro card. So that was like my first competitive season. 3 shows, first overall, 2 seconds, to now both IFBB pros. Yeah, great.
In one's in bodybuilding, one's in classic as well. So it's not like they've gone on and done men's physique.
No.
Yeah, mad. That's a pretty cool first year.
Yeah, no, it was really good. It was a very good introduction to like bodybuilding. I remember being so excited after my prep finished because I was like, sick, like, right, time to grow, like time to improve.
Get me the gear. Where's it at?
Was your first prep natural?
No, so I was saying that it was
half natty.
It wasn't, but it pretty much. It definitely was.
Just your hindline.
Yeah, no. It's just clean, guys. Clean's natural, isn't it? Something like that. I did it on like 300 test and 200 math because I was like, oh, that's a huge gear cycle. I was natural for 9 years, and then 16 weeks out, I was like, well, I'm going to do it, so I might as well. But I don't think I wouldn't have placed any better. I wouldn't have done any worse. I think the results would have been the exact same if I did it naturally. It was more so long term, and I was like, well, I've signed up to do a show. I'm not going to make the most of it like in the 6 weeks before a prep. I might as well just do it for prep, and then I can reassess and see, do I actually like this enough to continue? And I was like, okay, cool. So the second I finished prep, I was like, right, growth hormone, insulin, loads of gear. No, I didn't do that. Kind of, but not the insulin. I was scared of that. So growth hormone.
I didn't want to do the thing that my body naturally produces, so I did all the things that it doesn't produce.
Yeah, exactly.
That's how it works. Reece, when you went enhanced then, did you do that all off your own back, or did you have someone to like watch over you, or...
No, I've always, I've never had a coach. I've always done it myself. I'm incredibly geeky, over the top when it comes to just being a nerd, when it comes to all things physique development, which sounds so cringy to say out loud. So I apologize.
It does sound pretty cringy.
But it is. I you know, like when footballers are like, I'm a student of the game. I feel like that in a lot of aspects of bodybuilding.
Clip this bit up.
Well, I literally feel like I've just been like, in my younger years, if I go for a drive, I'm listening to a podcast regarding bodybuilding, PDs, whatever. And at this point, I had had multiple years of, I knew how to already interpret blood work. I knew, relatively speaking, what a prep cycle would entail. I just was a bit of a pussy with what I did myself, because I was like, I'm getting into this. I don't really need to take loads. And I've always been a bit like that when it comes to kind of how things are PD wise. But I got bloods done before. They were sound. I was already pretty much like peak off season natty, and I was pretty strong. Like Josh, you remember like how strong I was as a natty. Like in the last lockdown, I pressed 4 plates on a flat bench natty. I did a 160 incline for like a set of 5. I RDL'd 250 naturally. So like I was pretty decent natty, and like I had a lot of people when I was natty being like, "You on gear, bro?" And I was like, "No, I'm just train hard, and I don't really miss a beat." So
do you remember what your natural testosterone levels were?
Oh, I'd have to get them up. I think they weren't stupidly high. It was, I think like 22 nanomoles, but this was like peak off season. So if I'd got them done, yeah, that's not low. That's pretty high, but they weren't like, oh my God, stupidly high. Like it wasn't like, oh my, I'm a freak with my LH and FSH through the roof, cranking out max testosterone levels and all that sort of stuff. And it wasn't anything like that. But at the same time, like I lived my life when I was at uni genuinely like a robot. Like I don't think I ate off plan for the entirety of the 3 years I was there. I trained at the exact same time. The people that I lived with literally called me a caveman because I'd only leave my room to like put food in the microwave or to make food. Like that was it. So I was like, I'm definitely a lot more relaxed now that I'm with Sanaya, because I was so like, I go to the gym, I have to do this. I'd get kicked out of my uni lectures because I'd just like pop a meal open because I'm like, oh, it's 10:30, I've got to eat. And stuff like that. And that's not a flex or a brag. It's just I was really, really like very autistic when it comes to timings and like my routine. So, and nothing changed that, and it's always been the case. So like hormonally, I was in a pretty okay position because I always made sure my sleep was good. I always made sure to eat the same food. I always trained. Like since I started training, other than when I had my gyno surgery, I've never had more than like 6 or 7 days off. Like, and that would be a deload. I've never like fallen off and thought, fuck it, I'll get back to it next month or anything like that. So yeah, I'm just a bit of a geek. Sorry, boys. Awful.
You've mugged us off really, because we're just not. That's why we're natty.
Yeah,
we know about creatine, and Tom knows about multivitamins, and that's pretty much it.
Literally, I'm like the opposite. Like when I was at uni, I was pretty locked in with like bodybuilding and whatnot, but I've always it's probably why I'm still men's physique, to be honest with you. I've always been pretty like relaxed, but it's only now, like in my later years, that I've actually flipped that on its head, and I'm a little bit more robotic about things now. But I think it's just all goal dependent. So like when you were at uni, did you say that you always knew that you wanted to compete? That was always going to be the long-term goal? Or is it you just love, like what do you love more? Do you love competing more, or do you just love training and progressing your physique? And it's like competing is just like a side thing, side quest.
1,000,000%. Yeah, the latter. Like I don't do what I do to really step on stage. It's a byproduct, and again, another cringy statement, but it is the case. Like I do what I do because I just love being in the gym, and I'm very grateful for that. Like I think a lot of people get into it for not to say the wrong reasons, because who am I to question what you're doing it for? But if it's for vanity or self-appraisal or like approval from others, I think that's pretty much going to burn out after a certain period of time, no matter how good you are or bad you are. Like if you two guys, like Josh, for example, Tom, no offense, because you're good, but you're not Josh. Like Josh, if Josh is chasing other people's opinions, when you're being told you're a world champion, you could easily be like, okay, cool, I completed it. Or let's say, for example, if you're not at Josh and you're somebody who just gets a second call out, you're just going to stop because you're like, just, I'm not good enough for the judges. So for me, it's literally a case of like, I really just like training hard. I've always liked pushing myself, and that kind of correlates to me looking the way I do, I guess.
Well, mate, if you were like so hell bent on the win, like I train to win, it's like you probably would have quit a long time ago.
Yeah,
Like, and it's the same thing. Like
if you quit after your first show because you got the win, and then that's it, job done. What's next?
Yeah, but even then, it's like if you're training purely just to compete and like to chase after that win, it's like good fucking luck because everyone loses eventually.
And also, it's not. I don't know about you boys. It's not that enjoyable when you do get a win. Like.
Well, I don't know.
I nearly blew a load.
Yeah.
Loved it.
Tom cried instantly.
One tear, all right, just a little dribble.
No, but like you nailed it earlier when you said that when you won your PCA overall, it's almost like, all right, okay, cool. Like it's almost like a relief rather than like like complete euphoria.
Mm.
Because it is just a byproduct of, right, I've done training. I've trained for a long time really well. I've now done a prep for a long time really well. And now I've won a show. It's like, oh, great. Okay, next. Yeah. So with competing then, so you did your first year, which was, some would say, a baptism of fire. And then you competed how many years, months later? Was it 18 or?
Yeah, so I finished, in October 2021. That was when prep ended, and then the off season began. And then I started prep in January of 2023. So last year for my second prep and my last prep.
Last prep ever.
Done the thing, Kelly. Done my second prep and then never want to step on stage again.
Do you know, like, it's mad. I always think Finn's competed more, but I think part of that is he did that many shows last year and looked so different throughout the season. Yeah. It was like he did multiple seasons.
How many shows did he do?
43?
Yeah.
It's like 5, wasn't it? 5, 6?
I don't even know. He did a piece.
MBF.
No, he did a FitX. No, he did FitX. He did
men's physique.
UKDFBA,
A1.
UKDFBA qualifier, UKDFBA finals, and WMBF. So I think like 7 or 8 shows.
Yeah. Fucking hell.
Yeah. It was wild to think he never got a first place.
No.
In bodybuilding on the day.
Yeah.
Crazy. No wonder. And no wonder he's not competing against. I wouldn't.
Finn is going to come on the podcast next because his season last year was fucking ridiculous. Yeah. Wins a men's physique show, then doesn't win a bodybuilding show, but then wins a bodybuilding show like 10 days after the season finished.
Wasn't that because a guy was he a pro?
Yeah.
How did that slip through the net?
Because he's an idiot.
What the fuck?
Idiot. Yeah. So second season.
Yes.
Do you want to talk about it?
Sure. Yeah, it was a strange season because in my head I was like, right, I was probably me, Eagles, and Axel were probably the best juniors in the country in 2021 in men's physique, like a lot. And I was like, right, cool. I want to be at the top end now of the amateurs. So basically, it was a good amount of growing. It's one of those sort of things where you can't really control about how things grow, especially when it comes to like frame. I got away with being a good or a very decent junior men's physique guy because I wasn't massive, but I'm very wide across the top line. If you see me in person, I'm like my clavicle width is a bit of a joke. But when it comes to like insertions, I just grew and just looked way too fucking big and stupid for men's physique last year. I was over 100 kilos on stage, and I was high 90s in the juniors. So I was like middle 90s in the juniors, which is pretty unheard of for most guys in men's physique, let alone a first timer, first show, and a junior who was literally natty at 20 weeks out. So I had a good amount of tissue, and I've never really struggled to grow. So looking back, I definitely didn't need an 18-month off season. I think if I had competed in 2022, so a year, like if I had like a 6-month push into a prep, I think that would have been slightly better because I would have come to the decision, men's physique isn't for me when it comes to like how things are. But for last year, I did 4 shows. I did PCA, Northwest, Northeast. I don't know. It was something. Start of May. Jumped
Northwest.
Something. I'm not too sure. I got second out of 4. I beat an IFBB pro or a guy who's now an IFBB pro in that lineup. James Walters, if I'm not mistaken, his back shot is a joke. I thought when I was waiting to go on stage, he was going to be the guy that I was going to be like, right, I'll be me be him. I basically I think some of the judges, from what I got told, is like a lot had me in first, and then others had me in fourth because I was too big. And it was pretty much like, my feedback was, you should do bodybuilding. Like, that's what it said. Do bodybuilding, not classic, do bodybuilding. Like, too big for men's physique. It also didn't help, didn't get glazed because I got my tan done by Nicola. All excuses. Regardless, the criteria that they judged that show upon was probably the weirdest I've ever seen, because the guy that got fourth is now an IFBB pro. If there was anybody, he should have won. The guy that got third was better than the guy that beat me, in my opinion. And I was like the odd one out, where I was like twice the size of everybody. Yeah. And I remember a lot of times within the prep saying to Finn, at like 4 weeks out, saying like, I really do not look like a men's physique guy anymore. But I've signed up to the shows, and I always believe if you've signed up to something, you say you're going to do it. Like, just see how it goes. But I was walking on stage and the shorts were too tight. Like, it was just a bit of a struggle. And I just looked silly. Like, it just didn't look like a men's physique guy. So I was like, I signed up for that, got second. Like, I think a lot of people were almost a bit like, oh my God, how did that happen? And I was like, well, because it's not the look they go for anymore. The look definitely changed, where, like, let's say, for example, you look at Josh Bridgman. I think me and Bridgman, when we were in men's physique, had fairly similar structures, but unfortunately, he got his pro card to the point where he then, like, let's say, is a very good pro, but if you're within the amateur realms and you're 100 plus kilos on stage, you look stupid. And from 2020 really to about 2023, the criteria went from like guys who look really good in board shorts to guys who have tiny waists and don't have that much muscle but are really well shaped. And mine was more of the case towards just having a good amount of muscle and looking okay. But for me, it was a case where I competed and I was like, right, the criteria's gone this way, I've gone that way, therefore this is not going to work. So that was that. I then did 2 bros the week after, no one in my class, stacked win, and then I got third in the novice, which was so bad. I was like, okay, because I already in my head was like, men's physique is done, but I've signed up to this show. Same sort of feedback. I got told that my delts were too sharp, too pointy. My arms weren't bubbly. But they were like, yeah, but you could probably be a bit tighter from the back, but you need your arms and your delts to be less tight. You need them to be fuller and rounder. So I was like,
makes sense.
You need to be fatter on your delts, but then also leaner on your back.
And I was like,
do you not know how to do that, Reece?
That's easy.
Does anybody?
Calorie deficit, bro.
No, but my arms would get sharp, but my delts would just get sharper and more pointy.
What you got to do is, before you go on stage, you just got to put your arms out to the side like this and spin really fast.
Okay.
And it will just fill them up.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
Just set centrifugal force, right? It will just fill them up.
I'll give that a go when I'm in the Masters and I still haven't got a pro card. I'm outside because I'm scared about my health and tonight.
Reece, you're not going to make it to the Masters, mate. That would mean like 15 more years.
Jesus Christ.
Jesus.
Yeah, now I think about it, yeah. Pass me the needle. So that was that. And then basically, to summarize, because I'm just yapping on, I had 2 weeks and I was pretty much going to do bodybuilding classic. I did FitX for both. I got first in classic. I got second in open bodybuilding to Guy Harding, who is a joke. Like, he was backstage, and I was like, because he won the overall, and I would have won the overall if he didn't turn up. And I was like, sick. Like, he genuinely looked about 18 times my size. And I was like, this is going to be really, really fun. And I didn't actually look that bad next to him. I actually thought I held my own, but he's fucking awesome. Like,
yeah.
Am I allowed to sweat? I don't know if I'm allowed to sweat.
Yeah, of course you are, mate.
Yeah. So he's fucking awesome. He's fucking great, boys.
I've known Guy for like, not known him personally, but like he's from around like the Exeter area in the southwest. So like I've known that he's been like a wicked bodybuilder for some time, but he's weaker in the legs, isn't he?
Well, I don't know if you've seen the photos, but like I did him on condition easily. And through the lower, I actually remember literally laughing, thinking, fucking hell, a men's physique guy, and my legs did do his, especially my hamstrings.
Yeah, that's what I mean. For him, he's got quite weak legs in comparison to his upper. His upper's ridiculous, but he's still got good legs. But
he's like so big and round. He was like in this like oversized t-shirt, and he genuinely looked like he was like 300 pounds through the upper because he was massive. I was like, okay, this is going to be fun. So that was that. And then I did PCA Universe the following day. I don't even know if I was allowed to enter, but I did. I did Classic. I qualified for it within the men's physique show. And I just entered Classic and no one stopped me. So I don't even know if that's allowed. And then all I wanted from that was a first call out just to say, okay, cool, I'm actually not that bad at this. And I got 4th out of like 16 or 17, which, to be fair,
pretty
back,
good.
yeah, I was happy with that. Like I literally, because I didn't even know how to do a quarter turn at 10 days out. So I was like, right, I'm going in as a flawed, decent on Instagram, but horrendous classic bodybuilder because I had no outer quad. My arms were like, I just looked like a men's physique guy with just weird leg insertions and okay hamstrings because I can hinge a lot, but shit quads. So I was like, okay, I'm just going to see how I do. And I got 4th. And to be fair, like looking back, the 2 guys that placed 1st and 2nd were just black dudes with really nice shape and really good like bubbliness, but they weren't in the same condition as me. And then it was me and Craig Homer who got 3rd and 4th, and we were both a bit like, oh. Like we were probably the most similar. And I looked at photos and I was like, oh, I actually held my own. Like I actually looked pretty good. So though that was my last show, nothing but positive vibes, to be fair, to like end prep. And I was like, right, time to make the step up. So again, growth hormone, insulin, where's it at? I wasn't scared of it this time.
No longer scared. Pass me them needles.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Right, okay. So for those that haven't seen, Reece, you put a current physique shot on Instagram. Was it yesterday or the day before?
Yesterday, yeah.
With the question, men's physique, question mark.
No, I don't. I didn't put. I don't. I'm not going back to men's physique. No chance.
No.
You're not going back to men's physique because you're never ever going to fit under the weight cap.
What is the weight? Is there an actual weight cap for 2 bros?
Yeah. How tall are you?
5'11". My classic weight cap was 96 kilos last year.
I think it's about 89.
Reece, how tall are you?
5'11". Why do you think I was taller?
No, you're not.
Shorter.
Mate, I thought you were like. I've been with you in person. I swear, like 6'1".
No. I got my height done at 2 bros last year, and I was 182 centimeters.
You just have this clear like aura
182
about you. Then IFBB men's
fucking hell, mate.
Why?
Mate.
Why are you saying that?
I'm 177. There's no way you're 5 centimeters taller than me.
Oh,
you make me look like a child.
All right,
it's the aura. It's the aura, guys.
It's the aura. Yeah.
Reece? What do you
It's the
reckon is
shoes.
the absolute lightest you could get for stage right now? Like,
well, to put it into perspective, I was 102 kilos for men's physique last year, and for classic and bodybuilding, I was 98. And like, I'm guessing you've seen the photos.
Yeah.
I was genuinely like, there wasn't an ounce of body fat. I was inside out, peeled, and close.
Death protocol, I believe.
Yes. So,
right, so on a good day, right, if you're over 5'11",
yeah,
up to and including 6 foot, you can be 217 pounds.
okay. So what, like high 90s?
For men's physique, is that pro or amateur?
That's pro. So actually minus, I think it's minus another like 10 pounds off that, isn't it?
Yeah, something like
207
that.
pounds. Is it doable, mate?
I was heavier as a junior first timer at my first ever show than the amateur level, pretty much. Very close to the pro.
It's just all collarbone, mate.
Yeah, it is.
It's just all clavicle. That's all it is. I reckon, right, if we do a UFC... Right, this is the plan, right? Okay. Next season, me and Josh, we're going to be there for you when you do men's physique, and we're going to do a UFC weight cut. I'm talking towels, saunas, cold plunge, everything. And make it happen.
I'll still get beat by a black dude who looks like he was off Love Island. Like,
yeah. Mate, it still makes me laugh. He was at the PCA Naturals the other week, and I saw him and I thought, here he is, Love Island. I can't believe it. I can't believe he's natural and he beat you.
Who is he? PCA Naturals.
Josh, do you know? I honestly don't know his name. I'm being disrespectful. He looked great. He had a real...
Yeah, he's really good.
Yeah, he is. He's just... It was like... I remember Sam sending me through the photos of like me and him next to each other, and I was like, oh my God. Like, what? Like, you know, but I get it. Criteria-wise, he beat me. Fair play.
Yeah.
Like, no issue with
that. I said to you, didn't I, at like 2 weeks out, you was like, right, what we saying then? Overall pro card? I was like, no, mate, you're going to get beat in your class. And you were just like, oh, okay, all right.
No, it wasn't that. You said I'd win my class but get beat in the overall. And then it was when we posed. Remember when I like hit my side chest and I was like showing you like how my glutes looked on the side?
Yeah.
You were like, what the fuck, Reece? Like, what are you doing? Like, that's stupid.
You weren't men's physique anymore.
I knew that.
No.
Like I literally, like I said, I had so many conversations with Sinai where I was like, I'm going to be honest, it was actually like a pretty weird time in my life because I was like, I'm a lot better physique wise, but I'm a lot worse men's physique wise. So my only knowledge, like what I was saying earlier about like opinions, I am literally worse than I was a year and a half ago, but I'm so much better in the same way. Like, but judging off a criteria, I'm worse. And I was like, I'm too heavy for classic, I'm too small for open, and I'm too big for men's physique. It's like, where the fuck do I go?
Just a bit of no man's land, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did that affect you psychologically?
Honestly,
like, did it actually get to you a little bit or not?
I feel like it didn't get to me like when I was like, oh, I'm down. I woke up and I'm like in a state of depression because I'm like, oh,
yeah,
the judges, what are they going to do?
They don't like me.
Yeah, like I took my top off and said to Sana, am I good enough for you? And stuff like that. No, it wasn't like that. It wasn't that like that. But it definitely was a case where I remember finishing prep in 2021 and I was like, I literally woke up at like 5 a.m. Me and Sanai had planned to have a nice day in Birmingham together. And I was like, I searched up gyms near me to see if there's a gym open before she wakes up so I can go and start my off season a day early. That's how like excited I was in 2021. In 2023, I was like, I don't really know what I'm doing. Do I like, there was legitimate thoughts. Do I downsize and stay in men's physique? Because I don't really want to push PDs that high. Do I try to like somewhat like recomp my physique for classic where I can like try and not train my delts, not train really my arms, maybe just my biceps, and just get like better quads and not train my hamstrings? And I was like, well, I'm not going to enjoy my training. Or do I full send open where the health risks are going to be there? There's obviously going to be a case where I'm going to have to get stupidly fucking heavy. And is that what I want? Because my name on Instagram is ReeceFit. I'm not like Reece fucking meathead. Do you know what I mean? Like I was always in my teens a guy who looked pretty good. So like for me to go, okay, I'm just going to look awful. I'm just going to look like a big meathead of a bodybuilder. That to me was never that attractive. So it was a very much like a bit of a crossroads. So like I stayed pretty lean throughout the entire summer. I had a few holidays and like I didn't really push things too hard, but I was like, let me just see how things are. And I just focused on my training. And then after like 10 weeks, I was like, right, I'm in a good groove training wise. I just thought, right, let's go. Let's have a bit of a push and see how things are. And that's in a way how I am now. Like I'm going to compete next year, but I don't really care about like how I'm going to do results wise. I think I'll do okay. I think I'll do pretty okay. But I also, at the same time, I'm just like, I do this because I like training. I do this because I like the constant chase of like progression within the gym and progression within my physique, not relative to stage.
I feel like, carry on, Josh, what was you going to say?
What class do you think you're going to end up doing then next year?
Oh, 100% be open. I wouldn't be able to fit any others. Like men's physique can be too heavy. Like I'm 118 kilos now, flat. If I was full, I'd be like 121, 122, and I'm nowhere near close to stage condition. But if I'd be on stage at 110. I'd like to say. So if I'm 110 kilos on stage, I don't really think I'm gonna look that good in classic, considering I'm 13 kilos over my weight cap and 20 or so kilos over men's physique.
I think 30 kilos more than me. Like you would be 30 kilos more than me.
Oh, it's crazy
on stage. That's insane.
Yeah. And you'd still beat me in men's physique. It's crazy.
Yeah. I know that's what I'm saying. It's just mad, isn't it?
Yeah, mental. I reckon if it was me and you in the juniors, I think that would have been a good battle. My first year versus like your last year juniors, that'd be good.
I look back at like, people that I competed against, and I would have liked to have competed against you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not so much Axel. I'm glad that I swerved that one.
Yeah.
And Eagles. Eagles also, he entered the wrong UKDFBA show that same season.
Oh, mate, you got so lucky. Scammed it.
Oh, but this is bodybuilding, isn't it? You can only beat who you're against.
Yeah.
But Eagles competed the day before.
Oh, okay. That's quite cool. Yeah.
So Eagles did the UKDFBA novice. I did the UKDFBA British finals.
Right.
Makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but I do think I might have beat him because that was his first ever prep.
Yeah.
How did he?
Did he? Would have, mate.
He did well though. No, he did do well.
He won the novice, but it was pretty shit. Don't get me wrong. The open and juniors were pretty shit.
Oh, yeah. But again, for that year as well, he was like not even 14. He's like 12.
Yeah, he was like literally 9 months old, and he'd only been on prep for like 2 months.
And then he was on gear at like what, 1.5?
Yeah, pretty much.
I got a little bit of like an interesting take then. So obviously for your next prep then, do you feel more, because obviously you compete as a byproduct of your training, right?
Yes.
And like I think that's sick. But do you feel a little bit more pressure from social media now that you consider yourself an influencer based off of how you do next season? Or for you, is it like it just water off a duck's back? It is what it is.
No, honestly, I actually feel like there's like minimal pressure for me next year, which is strange because I definitely felt more pressure last year because I was like, right, I did like pretty well as a junior. I looked pretty good, and it was like pressure that I put on myself. Where like I'm going into this at 25, 26, open bodybuilding. There's not many guys my age with the same level of tissue that I have, and I also think like this is like, in my opinion, almost like a first time. Like I'm almost like a first timer again.
Yeah.
So like as always, my goals are stupidly high. Like I want to be going into any PCA show and winning. I want to do a PCA Pro qualifier and win a PCA Pro card. Not that that's the goal, but I just want to win like either the Universe or like a British Finals, which will result in a Pro card. And then I want to see how I'd stack up in a two bro show. If that doesn't happen, cool. I'm not going to cry. I'm going to go, okay, cool. I just need more time and I'll keep going. But I've put myself in the position over the last, since I stepped on stage, 15, 16 months, towards putting myself in the best possible spot to do well next time I step on stage. So obviously there's pressure, but I quite like that pressure. Like I don't look at it and think it's negative. And I also don't perceive social media pressure as much as I think other people like maybe do. Like I just look at it and think like I've won a fair few shows and I've lost a few shows. That's cool. That'll be my career. I'm not going to win every single show I do, but I'm also not going to like not win any shows. Like I'll definitely will win a few, but we'll just see how things go.
Yeah, you can always just go and do a FitX one, mate. Why don't you try and get a FitX Pro card? I heard that's like, you know, up there on your things to do.
Or UKUP.
I got told, Tom, you don't know this. I got told that like FitX would be like my peak in bodybuilding. All from people that are like 6-7 years older than me, which is crazy.
This is what you've been told?
I got told, that's going to be my peak. And I was like, fuck.
Oh,
great.
Guess that's shit.
Yeah, I know. Really, really sad, honestly. It's not a lot I can say, really.
I've heard that your sleep's gone out the window since then. You just shut your eyes and you see a FitX Pro card and you're like, huh.
Oh, no. That's actually my goal. I wake up, I dream of that every night.
All right, okay.
This is what happens when you turn into an influencer. You don't actually train hard anymore. You know what I mean?
Fake plates.
Fake plates.
Yeah. No, definitely not. I actually have, to be fair, I find the influencer side of things, like, again, I joke about it, but it is a case where people like kind of take what you do and they'll almost like think that's only going to be the way. I find it quite challenging because like when you guys start out, you listen to certain people, and nowadays like people probably listen to us and they think that what we say is like 100%
gospel. Yeah.
And it's sometimes hard because like a lot of the stuff I do in training is just because I want to do it and it's fun. And it might not be optimal, but I'm like, I don't really care. Like, I'm just doing it because I want to.
How long have you been training for now?
13 years.
So there's going to be things that you do now after 13 years of just throwing shit at the wall and seeing what sticks. That's not necessarily like, you know, run of the mill, like the normal thing to do, but it works for you. But then obviously you've got these guys coming to training fresh off the hot off the press and they're trying these things, but it's not necessarily the right thing to do. It's just after your experience, that is what works for you.
How do you train, Tom? I've never actually seen you train. I know how Josh trains. What's your sort of training ethos?
Mate, very, very standard. I just train like twice a week, skip legs. You know, it's just pretty standard. Now, I'm just like I'm a lower volume, higher intensity kind of guy. Just training frequency twice a week per muscle groups, apart from legs, because obviously we don't need them.
So what's your split? I'm interested.
My split right now is upper on a Monday. I thought that was a beer. I thought that was a big, like a beer. What's it called, Josh? The Steiner.
It's in my Conte 2.2 litre bottle of water that you get for free if you get 2 products over £50.
I thought that cost £50.
Mate, it's £63. It's a joke, isn't it? I'm sorry. Yeah. What is? I know they're probably doing it just as like people click it when you buy like 2 products, but £60. What?
Mad. Anyway, split. So I do upper on a Monday.
Upper on Tuesday.
I do upper legs. No, Tuesday is legs and delts, and then a rest day on the Wednesday.
So, and then we've got full body on a Tuesday.
What, legs and delts?
That's full body session.
pretty much.
That's like legs, bums, and tums kind of.
Legs, bums, and tums. That's that new name for it. There we go. And then Thursday is push, then pull, and then I've got another chest, delts, and arm session. So arms, delts, chest 3 times per week.
Fairs.
Twice.
Your chest must be really shit. Like that must.
It is really shit. They used to call me Mastectomy Tom. That was like my nickname.
Oh, okay.
Oh, God.
Yeah. So it's doing the job though.
Tom had gyno surgery and they just took his pecs out.
Yeah. They just extracted like a little bit too much. You know?
Okay, right. I actually had a client, Pat Jones. He's Josh. Do you know Pat? Do you guys know Pat Jones? He little Filipino kid. I think he's Filipino, mate. If you're not Filipino, I'm so sorry. I'm but I think he's somewhere around there.
Somewhere in East.
He's like Irish. He's like Irish or something.
He's 19, and like I think he was 18 when he competed last year, and he got second at the first timers, the last first timer show, and then he got first in the Open show that was later on. It was like the October one. No, not October. It was
November.
November, yeah. November.
I do remember who he is.
Yeah. And he had gyno surgery like 4 weeks ago, and he literally messaged me being like, "Bro, I thought I had a good lower chest. It turns out it was all gyno." I was like,
mad.
Soz, mate. Imagine, like, you're literally thinking, you're walking around, you're like, my chest is pretty wham. Like, once this gyno goes, it's going to look good. And then you're like, oh, it was all gyno.
Yeah, can I have gyno surgery again, please? But to put it back in. Oh dear.
Well, give us like a brief rundown of like your training approach now, then, Reece.
Okay, so it's not anything different. It's just like probably the loads that I'm lifting are like, I'd say somewhat okay. So like
I'd say somewhat fucking ridiculous, mate.
Yeah.
Even I'm stronger than Josh on back, aren't I, mate?
Yeah. No, it's an interesting one. Like, as much as, again, I'm not going to say like there are people stronger than me, but I do definitely think like within the UK bodybuilding scene, like there's not many that I can really look up to anymore, which is a bit of a shame. And that sounds cocky, but it is the case. Like, I always like that underdog. Like, I've always been, when I was training, I was always the youngest in my gym. And I was always like, I'm going to be stronger than that guy. And then you get to a certain point and it's like, I'm not being a dick, but like, so he's got way more muscle mass than me. But like, you look at JP, I hinge more than JP. Like, there's stuff that he does that I'm like, oh, that's cool 5 years ago. And I'm like, okay, I'm actually doing more than that. So it's more so been a case recently of like, just trying not to absolutely ruin myself, because load exposure can be a bit of a joke. And especially when you've gone from like, I just love training, so I love to be in the gym. I still think of myself as like an 18-year-old natty who can't train that hard. So like in my, like at my peak body weight, I was 290-ish, 295. Like I saw 296. I saw 300 pounds before I went to bed, but
it doesn't count.
Yeah, it doesn't count. So I was like literally 290, 295. And there was like a week of rotation training wise. I looked at my numbers and it was like Monday, it was like an 8-plate T-bar row. Tuesday, it was a 4.75 plate beside Smith press. Wednesday, it was like, it was legs, and I can't remember what I was doing, but it was like, I think it was like a 15 or a 16 plate Sarbeck squat press. And then Friday was like full upper. So it was like a big session. The Saturday, just an 8-plate stiff leg deadlift. And I was like, okay, probably going to break down and disintegrate into dust. And I did. I had to deload every like fucking 3 to 4 weeks because I was so fucking ruined.
You know the incline Atlantis?
Yeah.
Tom, what plates per side can you do?
Like 4.5. Come on, I've got no chest.
I did 6 the other day for 7 reps.
And Reece, how many do you do?
I got 9. I had to put plates on the pins that you adjust.
Yeah.
It was 9 plates and a 5 for a set of like 10 or 11. He's
disgusting.
That's it.
Tom's gone. Tom's just jumped out of his window.
Fucking hell. I'm back.
Yeah.
So I shall work myself.
Heavier. I did at the shed, because they've got, that top peg, the nitro. Yeah. I think I did 12 or 13 plates total on it.
You know what? I would hate to be like your tendons and ligaments and stuff like that.
It's bad, yeah.
Do you take a joint support? Right. Don't give me this crap. Don't give me this crap. Don't give me this crap.
Joint complete.
That has been out for 2 days.
Amazing. It fixed all my problems.
Before that, what joint support were you using? Because I recently changed mine.
Okay, I was using growth hormone and vibes. That was the protocol. Unfortunately,
Vibes.
yeah, just vibes. That's what
You
it's.
weren't you weren't taking a joint support.
No, I was taking Sanaya's Join In by JP. She'd get
Right.
it,
Okay.
and I'd just steal some from her. That would be it.
That's the one that I've switched to. So I was using Strom for a while, but you know Tam, my client. I don't know if you've seen him.
Tam, I probably have.
It looks a little bit like Arnold.
Okay, yeah.
He was saying now like turmeric has been like proven to suppress testosterone levels. So I thought, oh, sorry, I'll switch it around. I can see a difference.
Really, what
You know.
testosterone or like actually joint wise, like?
Oh, joint wise, better.
Right.
It doesn't turn your piss bright orange, and I would say the last like month training's been a bit better, but I don't know if that's just me improving as an athlete. You know,
And Josh
why
just walks around with hard-ons all the time now, don't you, mate? From that
sick.
little
Yeah.
testosterone.
Do you know why testosterone affects joints?
no, tell me.
Okay.
Doesn't
well,
it
not-
change like the structure of like tendon fibers?
It definitely can do from exposure to like super physiological levels. But if
Yeah.
you look at it from an estrogen standpoint, your testosterone converts to estrogen, and estrogen is joint protective. So, and also estrogen, having high estrogen will usually correlate to more water retention, usually around the joints, or it can be around the joints. So if your testosterone is lower, your estrogen conversion, your E2 conversion is going to be lower. So as a result, you basically have sore joints. So that's the reason why it's not like testosterone. If it was just testosterone, it didn't aromatize, it wouldn't really make a difference joint wise. I'd argue, if anything, just with the process upon how strong you get, you'd actually feel worse through the joints. But having higher E2 is pretty beneficial when it comes to joints. So if your testosterone is being suppressed, that's usually the reason. Like, think about the back end of a prep, you're really lean. Joints usually, as much even though your training can't be that hard, the reason why your training can't be that hard is usually because your joints are battered and you're just feeling trashed. Testosterone is naturally a bit lower within a natural prep. So, sorry, boys. I just got on a tangent there.
No, I love it. This is what we want, mate.
Just rubbing it in, mate. The fact that like we're natty and you're not. Cheers, bro. Thanks for that.
Yeah, all good. Well,
I have got loads of questions.
Have you actually? I didn't think you'd get many because me and Finn are so easily accessible. You know, so I thought
I got 12.
Oh, sound.
That's pretty good.
I can't ask one of them for obvious reasons. I said it to you both before the podcast.
Thanks for that one, Ian.
Ian.
Thank you very much, mate.
No. Sorry, the guy that asked about you having till 12 o'clock tomorrow, unless what that rhymes with L E key is gonna expose you. Wasn't that the case? Was that the question?
That was the question. And then remember the other one about our preferences.
Oh no, Josh, I know exactly what question you meant. I just thought I'd put you on the spot.
I know what you were doing, Reece.
Yeah,
I know what you're doing. I've got some pretty good ones. My favourite are anything that's football, specifically Liverpool related. Not for your response, Reece, but for Tom's.
Tom, who do you support? You're a United fan, aren't you?
No.
Oh,
yeah,
no.
I love football. I love it. Absolutely love it.
You're not into football?
Nah, I love it, bro. Nah.
Just-
Okay.
How you
Not
fancy
into,
things, not
if
into
I had to support a team,
Yeah.
Liverpool.
Okay. Can I say a very controversial thing? Like, I do feel like, you know, the lads that are like not into football, you had no friends at school. Like, you were like you got bullied or something.
This is kind of true.
Yeah, it's always the same. I don't know why. It's just like the guys that learn into football are the same ones that are like, I did music instead of playing with the boys.
Have you heard of something called RuneScape?
Yeah.
Did you play it?
I played it at my friend's. I was a little bit like late to that sort of scene, but I missed it.
Got you.
What games did you play when you were a kid?
That's actually partly the reason why I got into bodybuilding, believe it or not. I was playing academy level football, and it was a case where I missed training because I was playing Modern Warfare 2, Call of Duty.
My guy.
Continually, like I was genuinely playing that every waking second. I remember when Black Ops 1 came out, I was averaging a prestige every single 5-day period from Monday to Friday. I'd do a prestige. So it would literally be like a case where I remember I was max level by like Christmas, and the game came out it comes out October, so or November. I don't October, November.
Yeah.
It was like 2 months, and I was like max level. So got a lot of Call of Duty. Play FIFA, like occasionally, but like I've never really been like a PC gamer or anything like that. Like I'm the sort of guy who's like, you play PC games, nerd, even though I've got like a billion hours on the old Call of Duties and stuff.
Do you remember your playing time on them? Like, do you know, like days played?
It was a joke. Like, yeah, like I think I had like 35 days on Black Ops 1. So over a month.
God.
The game was only relevant because it's Call of Duty for a year, and I don't think I played it for the last 2 months. So within like a 7 or 8 month period, over a month on it.
Jesus Christ,
that's so sad.
That is impressive, mate.
Yeah, it is. What other games do you boys play? Like anything? Skyrim, stuff like that.
He just Tom does rimming, not Skyrim.
Great.
I used to play. I played Modern Warfare 2 for about 3 years because I was so bad at it.
I was literally just about to say, why can I imagine you being shit at COD?
Terrible, mate. Terrible. Took me 3 years to do 1 prestige.
Ooh.
I did it, and then stopped playing it. I was like, I've done what I wanted to do now.
One story about Modern Warfare 2 that I rings back like so bad memories. That was the first competitive Call of Duty that I played. I played World at War and COD 4 at my friends, but I never had Wi-Fi or anything like that. So I used to like just play the campaign on like Veteran and think I was like the shit. And I remember I once joined a guy called Ashley Garrett. He applied for coaching about 2 years ago. He was a few years older than me at school, and it was a quick scope, no scope game on Rust. And I pulled out the UMP45 and was spraying everyone down. And he got on the mic and he was like, "Reece, you gay, fat, like, dickhead, leave the game." And this was an older lad that I looked up to. And I genuinely left the game and was in tears. I cried. I was like 10. I was in tears. So, Ashley, thanks. You made me cry. That's when I think of Modern Warfare 2, I just think about when I got called a gay, fat kid by a kid that I looked up to. We then applied for coaching. And I was like, £500 a month, buddy. Sorry.
You ruined my life.
Oh, good.
Was you actually decent at Call of Duty as well?
Black Ops 1, yeah, I remember I got like, there was a prestige like leaderboard, and I was like 4th on score per minute in the world at one point. I wasn't 4th in the world or anything like that. I had like a 3.7 KD, if you know what that is.
Yeah. So on, what was it on?
I think mine was like 0.2.
Oh my god!
I think mine averaged like 2.8, but score per minute on, I think it was World at War 2 on for about 4 or 5 game modes. I was at least like top 300 in the world for score per minute.
What was your favourite COD? Like, Tom, which one?
Favourite COD all time? It's got to be. It's a close one between COD 4 and Modern Warfare 1, Modern Warfare 2. Easy.
Okay. Did you play Modern Warfare 1 first?
Huh?
Did you play Modern Warfare 1 first? Or
Call of Duty 4, Modern Warfare, the OG one, that's what I played, yeah.
Was that your first Call of Duty?
Yeah.
That's why I think you say that. Because I feel like your first COD is always going to be your favourite.
Yeah. COD, it's mad. Like, I feel like I actually learned lessons from Call of Duty from like just like hours. I think I had like 60 days played on COD 4. It was a joke, an actual joke. And I learned shit from it that applied to life now, you know, so it wasn't a waste of time. It's fine.
Should we go paintballing?
Yes.
Ooh.
Reece is easy fucking target, mate. 1 mile an hour max speed, clavicular width of a fucking bus, like easy, pepper him.
We'll have teams. We'll have teams captained as Reece and Jack Eagles, because I reckon both of you will have the same agility. And then all the natties will be stood up and you can just pick between us.
Okay. That would actually genuinely be hilarious. Like Sam filming that would be...
Mate, I speak to Sam, like Sam gets all my like verbal diarrhea on stuff. And I think paintballing, bowling, and then also I've got like a dream at the end of this year for us all to, you, as in Reece, Tom, Jack Eagles, Finn, and then obviously me and Tom, for us to go to a pub, get it all mic'd up as like a big podcast and just talk shit about the entire year.
Oh.
But also get absolutely spangled.
Drinks, I think that would be like genuine cancellation. Like we would be finished.
Do you like a drink?
Yeah, we'd lose all our clients.
Sponsorships.
Do you like a drink?
No, mate. I haven't. Josh will laugh. I genuinely have never finished a pint in my life. Like I've never drank a whole pint.
Okay, so you've never finished a better. Like, have you ever got drunk?
Yeah, a few times.
So like, if you like, like, for instance, you wouldn't like once a year get like a little bit tipsy or something?
The last time I was drunk was in Liverpool before I went to Canada, before I started prep in 2023. So that was me, Finn, Shannon, so Finn's girlfriend, and Sanaya. And we were out in
Right.
Liverpool for the night. And that was like, I'd say I had like 6 drinks and I was like pretty gone. Then I slept for 2 hours, then lifted 300 kilos, slept for 1 hour, traveled for the whole day to Canada, and then slept for like 23 hours. So yeah. That was
Good
that.
going.
That was the last time. That was the last time that I was drunk. That was the last time I think I had a drink. Like last year, because I was prepping for like 6 months of the year. I didn't have any drinks. I was like, I didn't really fancy it when I was away on holiday. And like, I've never been succumbed to like peer pressure on my birthday, where it's like, it's your birthday, mate. Have a drink. I'm like, oh, I'm good. I'm fine.
Reece,
Yeah.
I want to ask a question. I'm not taking the piss here.
Oh, mate.
Do you have any friends?
No, no, I have no. So this is honestly, I said to you, didn't I? I was like, I don't have that many friends, and I'm pretty sound on my own. Like my best friend, I should say Sanaya. Sanaya is my best friend. My mum is my best friend. I get on extremely well with my mum. We watch football together. We'll go for walks together. Like me and mum are incredibly close, which I'm extremely grateful for. Obviously, I have Finn. We train together. Me and Finn have known each other for years now, and I appreciate Finn massively. Obviously, Sanaya. And then I have like a guy called Hubert who I coach, who I've known since first year uni, that I occasionally will play like video games with. He'll message me like once every couple of weeks, like, "Hey, bro, you got an hour? You want to play some Warzone?" And we just are awful, and I just regret it because I'm like, God, I'm so shit at Call of Duty now.
It's
But
bad, isn't it?
otherwise, honestly, that is pretty much everybody, and that might sound sad because at 25 I've not got a very like wide circle, but I'm sound. I'm all good. I like my life.
Yeah. No, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But
Yeah.
I think like if you say in your early 20s, if you've got people that aren't in the bodybuilding world, they generally are quite bad influences because they don't get the whole bodybuilding stuff. So all the times where I've got immortally drunk have been times where it's been with like my schoolmates or with people that, go out and drink on a regular basis.
Yeah. I have like, if I wanted to, like I have a lad called Jamie, surname's Mycock, Jamie Mycock, fantastic surname. He was like my best mate growing up, and he technically still is. Like I haven't seen him for about a year, but like I love the lad to bits, but we don't have the same interest anymore. So it's like you just grow apart. But like if he was to message me and say, yo mate, you want to come out for a night out? And I had nothing on the following day, I'd probably be like, yeah, sound. I won't do the same sort of stuff as you do, but I'll come along. You know what I mean? So it's like, but that being said, I say that, I'd just be like, oh, sorry, bro, I got check-ins the following day. You know what I mean? Like, you say you would, I probably wouldn't. But yeah, like I've got friends, if I was to want to go out, it just never really pops up with where I put myself in my life.
The thing is with drinking, like I know Josh likes to drink, but I feel like people mainly drink because it's like it's an escape, isn't it? It's like escapism. Whereas like if you enjoy what you do every single day, you don't feel the need to do that. Like if you enjoy your work, if you enjoy your training, you enjoy feeling good, you enjoy like performing in the gym, like that brings you your satisfaction. Whereas I think for a lot of people,
when I was younger, like when I was a young little wee lad. But I remember, like, I actually had this conversation with Snai like yesterday. I genuinely was out in a nightclub, Mosh in Leicester. Awful, so bad. Like the dress standard is worse than what we're wearing now. That's how bad it is. Like it was
my God.
Yeah, it was shocking. And I remember like 2 a.m. and I was like, I genuinely had a thought. Like I'm only like 19, and I was like, I'm gonna be training tomorrow. Why am I drinking? And then ever since then, I was like, when you're like close to being blackout drunk, it's 2 a.m. You've been drinking for like 6 hours, and you consciously think, what am I doing? I was like, this ain't for me.
I don't think that thought enters Josh's mind.
No.
Ever.
Nah, probably not now. I just think, I'm training tomorrow. Let's have another drink. I'm already drunk. I'm going to get blackout drunk. Yeah, buddy.
Right. Should we questions?
Yeah,
12,
questions. Yeah,
Jesus.
we'll try and ram through them in 10 minutes. Phil Hashuk, my boy in Oz, has asked EPL predictions 1, 2, 3, wooden spoon. I don't know what it means by wooden spoon. 4th?
Yeah. I'm not sure. You guys
beyond me, boys. Beyond me, lads. Take it away.
Josh, you go then. Give me a prediction.
City. Arsenal, Liverpool.
Okay. I'm going to go... Oh, no, sorry. I was interrupting. You're going to say fourth? I didn't know. Yeah.
Fourth is tricky. I want to say West Ham, but I think... I don't know. Maybe Man United. They might do
Over
something
Spurs?
decent. Well, this is it. I don't think Solanke's that good.
Oh, I've doubled down on him in my FPL. Going to be
I've put him in my FPL. I've put him in mine to prove me wrong. I want Solanke to work his arse off and prove me wrong. I've made one massive error as well in my FPL. I've put fucking Ivan Toney in.
Oh, that's a bad one.
I was banking.
Who's your other striker?
I've got Solanke, Toney, and I want to say Watkins. I went all out on my strikers.
No, you mean your midfielders, surely. Like those strikers, and like you've not got Haaland. Like,
not got Haaland.
So who have you got in midfield? Like Saka, Palmer, Salah.
Oh, I went for Mateta up front.
Oh, that's
right. Midfield is Palmer, Saka, Foden, Mainu, and Curtis Jones.
Mate, who have you got in defence?
Shut up. Whatever he's called, Mitchell, Gabriel, Ruben Diaz, Mark Gay, Kilman, and that's it.
Josh, you've actually got like no elite players. I'm stunned. Fair play. Have you got money left? I can tell you're a Liverpool fan, mate, with those. You've kept like 8 million in the bank. Oh my God.
Reece, I have nothing. I have no money. My goalkeepers are Raya and Martinez.
That is like one of the stinkiest FPLs I've ever heard in my life. Wow.
Hey, no. They're going to do well. Have
you entered the once you're in your league?
No, because the fucking the season started, hasn't it? So you can't enter things after the season started.
Oh, that's a shame.
It's a join league.
A yee. No, I'll send you the link. Yeah,
Vin sent it me.
Okay. My top four, I'm going to say Arsenal, Liverpool, City, and Spurs.
City in third.
Yeah, I just think with the potential relegation looming, I don't think they're going to be as motivated. They've only signed now 2 players, Gundogan and Savinho. I think De Bruyne's getting on. I don't think his fitness is going to hold up. And I also would like to see a different winner. And I think Arsenal have been really good for the last few years. So I'd like to see them win if I was to see anybody. Obviously, I'm a Liverpool fan. But I think without our players, actually, if we were to go out and sign 3 players that are like quality that go into the starting 11, I think we could actually push Arsenal and City. But the likelihood is it'll go City, Arsenal, Liverpool. I think that's the highest likelihood. But I want to see something different, so I'm going to go for that.
Yeah, I agree. I would like to see Arsenal win it just as someone different. I just think Pep's such a good manager. He'll pull a fucking rabbit out of his arse and they'll win. Carl Curry has asked, how do you rate your genetics?
Say pretty all right. But the thing is again, is it based off like a criteria? Because I think like I am very okay at. I could do classic and be pretty good. I could do open bodybuilding and be pretty good, but I'd have to push and get really fucking big, which is probably the plan. And I was pretty good as a junior in men's physique, but I wasn't like absolutely elite. So if we're judging off a criteria, I think I'm like 7, 8 out of 10. If I judge it off my ability to train hard, strength, and to put on muscle, I'd probably say like 9 to 9.5.
Yeah,
you're basically the Dorian Yates of men's physique.
Fucking hell. I don't know about that.
There you go. Clip it up. That's going to be a reel. I thought last year, you know, when I saw you in the flesh and like obviously seeing how you train, there was a part of me that was like, if you'd have stayed natty, I do think you would have been one of the best. Like at a very, very young age. Like even if you'd have just done a natty season, how high can you get? How far can you get in one season? But you know, I do get and appreciate that isn't your goal. Your goal is to, you know, reach the pinnacle in untested bodybuilding. So
the pinnacle is the Natural Olympia, isn't it? Where it was probably the worst show I've ever been to in my entire life. That was the pinnacle.
Do you think you'll ever tell a client not to do that show?
Every single client that ever wants to do it. I think if I'm being honest, all the show like the UKDFBA Worlds that was in Amsterdam, shocking. Like it was a shit show. Like I don't care. Like Lee was an idiot on the day. I think a lot of the stuff that you see within like bodybuilding, especially the natural realms abroad, isn't that good unless it's like high end WMBF in like what you did. And even then, like there's probably going to be a lot of things that are a little bit of a cock up, and it's a shame because I honestly, genuinely, much rather natural bodybuilding when it comes to spectating. And I'm not going to say coaching because I think coaching big dudes is pretty cool. But like, I definitely think from a spectatorship standpoint, I really like natural shows. When I went to the BMBF show on the weekend, I was like, this is way better than PCA shows. I really enjoy looking at people who are natural. That's what I've spent most of my time training naturally. So it's like, I appreciate it. I think it's class. But I just think that it's a shame that a lot of the shows are a bit shoddy, like at the top end, unfortunately.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. I remember when Neil
random overalls, jump on gear. Sorry.
I remember when Neil Curry went to the Olympia and he came back and I was like, oh, how was it? It was like really, really underwhelming. That's the fucking actual Olympia. It was like, yeah, it just felt really poorly organised and rushed.
That's a shame.
Yeah. Will Raby _ has asked how to get a lean back. I don't know if he's having a dig at you.
Death Protocol. It's the only time
Death Protocol.
Yeah, I honestly think, and I spoke about this to Eagles. I do think PEDs have a bit of an impact when it comes to getting like some areas like absolutely skinned, because like Josh, you saw me at 2 weeks out. I pulled off another 7 kilos from that point, and I was from the front like genuinely like inside out, like from everywhere I was inside out. Just my lower back was like just a tiny bit soft. I had striated glutes, my hamstrings were dug out, but it was my lower back had like a little layer, didn't it?
Yeah.
Was you fucked in prep? Like, was you trashed towards the end?
This sounds like again, it's a cringy reply, but I'm very poor at knowing when I am. Like Sanaya would have been like, you're wrecked. But I honestly don't think I was, but I physiologically probably was, if that makes sense.
Yeah, so like, do you think that, do you think it was body fat, or do you think it could have been just like an expression of like the amount of fatigue that you you just don't know, do you? Like,
yeah, I'd say I have the issue where like it'll be 3 weeks out and I'm like getting myself like amped up for 10 minutes prior to a top set leg press or a like a hinge, because that's how I am. Like I've always been like that. And I do definitely think like if you could put somebody else's brain in my body at like those last 4 weeks, it probably would actually demonstrate a better look, because I wouldn't be getting myself as trashed. And I always want to do more. Like I always want to do more cardio. I don't want to pull back. So I think there definitely is probably an element of that, because like I said, like if I was to show you visuals, it like almost doesn't make sense. Like Finn would literally be like, I'd speak to people that are like a lot higher up than like us collectively, and they'd be like, what the fuck? Like it's stupid, because I can get lean really easily, but my lower back always has a little bit of a layer. Death Protocol got rid of that, because I think it was literally a case where after that I was going to die. But yeah, that was that. But, yeah, so yeah, how to get a lean lower back? I don't know. Sorry.
Death Protocol.
Yeah, Death Protocol, bro.
That is the answer. Do you know, for some people though, it is like they don't store much fat there. Like I've got guys that are prepping now where their lower backs are in and their abs aren't. It is just genetic. Like Tom, you had it, didn't you, with your glutes being in
before my abs,
but still having like a 1-pack. It was just bizarre.
It's unfortunate, but there we go.
Tom, I haven't dissected your physique ever, really. I'm sorry. Is that because your abs are a bit? Do you have minimal muscle there, or like is it?
No, I've actually got decent ab like development. My first competitive season it was bad, and then I actually started training abs, and it's a little bit better now. But now I've actually got pretty, like in terms of my midsection is pretty decent. It's pretty decent. It's just like body fat distribution wise, just very unfortunate for the midsection. Is what it is.
Fair enough.
Yeah. John Freelove, we love you, John. Favorite bodybuilder in terms of physique and favorite footballer that you admire?
Oh, sick. Favorite bodybuilder, peak Jeremy Buendia, like 2016 Olympia.
Was not expecting that.
I was not expecting that either.
I was expecting like Nick Walker or
no.
I was expecting like C-Bum.
No, Jeremy Buendia, like mid 2000s. You know, like a few years into his like Olympia reign.
That was hype
Yeah.
back then, wasn't
He
it?
was so good, so good. In my opinion, that's like the spitting image of what I think like men's physique is and should be. It's a shame. In a way, it's a shame they've gone for like more tapered guys with really bubbly abs. Basically, a black dude with a tiny midsection. Like, because I look at Jeremy Buendia and I think it's that like last year he wasn't that good, but in his peak, that's like epitome of men's physique. Yes, his abs aren't symmetrical. Yes, his abs aren't so dry and grainy, and his midsection's tiny, but it's not got the same bubble as like as like let's say Aaron Banks or Brandon Hendrickson. But yeah, peak Jeremy Buendia would be my favourite physique by quite a distance. If I was to go bodybuilder, I'd really like Phil Heath. I think he's the best bodybuilder by quite some distance. So yeah, and then classic, C-Bum's the easy answer in it. Like, probably there's probably a few classic guys that I'm like, oh yeah, really, really good. Yemi's my favourite classic.
Yemi.
Yeah, classic.
Yemi's favourite.
Yeah, I thought that as well. I think even though he is mine, I think he prefers it in his head that it's him. So like that, and he'll be happy to hear that. So make that a real, guys. Don't.
I'd actually not. I was thinking this about I'd actually love to see him in a pair of board shorts.
I think
with that waist.
As much as I joke, I actually like genuinely like as much as I'm joking. I really do like Yemi's physique. I think if he would look really cool in men's physique, he would look stupid because I think he's like an alien when it comes to how he's shaped, isn't it? Like
yeah,
you'd look at him and be like, what the fuck? Because he almost doesn't make sense. Like that's
it's almost cartoony.
Yeah, that's what I mean, and that's I in a weird way I actually quite like. That's what draws me to certain bodybuilders when it's like they just look like stupid, like really good for whatever reason. Like Jacob Tipper, my guy this year, stupid quads, like stupid legs for 19, and like I just was like, wow, what the fuck? Like I think bodybuilding should have that like wow factor where you're like, what? Like when someone's so balanced and perfect, I'm just a bit like, yeah, like. You look cool, but like I like something that's like sick. That's freaky.
Reece, what's my wow?
Your smile, your looks.
Yes. Yes.
No,
I knew it'd be that.
For you, it's like conditioning and how things flow. Because I look at you when you're in the gym in between shows in a tank top, and I honestly think you just look like a very like decently built guy. But then you step on stage with a stage tan, and it's like, wow, you make guys who are twice the size of you look awful in comparison. So yeah, I'd probably say that.
Oh, thanks, mate.
Favorite footballer? We'll all have to answer. Tom, don't copy. You go first. We'll give it to you.
Favorite footballer ever?
Yeah,
Michael Owen.
Okay, Josh.
Okay, now favorite footballer ever. Oh, maybe.
Can
I'm going to say Torres. I'm going to say Torres at Liverpool.
Good answer that.
I want to change mine.
Oh, fuck off. No, because you picked a Liverpool player. Just leave it. Oh, okay.
Okay, I'm going to just show you something, boys. My mum, when I moved out, I saved a few cards, and it fell off, so it's a little bit slanted. But we have Cristiano Ronaldo and a Steven Gerrard. This was the reason, pretty much, why I started supporting Liverpool. The Steven Gerrard one. I got it in a pack of shootout cards. First ever pack, or first ever like wodge of packs. It was like that one of the last cards. And then they went on to win the Champions League after that. So I was like, guess I'm a Liverpool fan now. So I'd say Stevie G when I was younger. Cristiano Ronaldo as well. I like Cristiano Ronaldo. So I like both of them. But my favourite footballer probably would be R9 Ronaldo, just because I really like how he played, how he looked. Like supported me peak off season. Me and him are bros. No, I just think I feel like as well like the potential. You know, it's like the what if. You know, like Thiago Alcantara, Josh.
Yeah.
You know, because he's injured, you almost hold him in a higher standard. Daniel Sturridge, I love Sturridge. Yeah. Because it was the thought of him. You know, it's the thought of if he was fit. So yeah.
Yeah. I get you completely. I think that Torres for me is that like I can't remember what year it was, but the Liverpool top with like the white collar and long blonde hair with his little headband, all of it. And the goals that he scored were just phenomenal.
Yeah, they were.
Man's a legend. Yeah. I remember Torres once did like a knee slide like into a bolt kind of thing as a celebration. And I did it.
You did one of
them? Well, Torres did that, so it must be okay.
Yeah.
I remember
hair, blue eyes, all makes sense.
and then one of them, yeah. So I once scored on like the school playground on a fucking concrete floor, and I did a knee slide and just took all the skin off my knees.
And then got detention for 6 months afterwards because you did that.
I got expelled.
Okay.
That's when I moved to Germany for a bit. Right, anyway, next question. Will Kempsford, sorry. Tom's client. This is obviously for Tom as well. Pick 3. Salah, Mane, Firmino, Barnes, Suarez, Torres, Owen, Fowler, Jota, Sturridge, and Dalglish. Can you remember all of them?
Yeah, it's just Liverpool front 3. Easy. Mane on the left, Salah on the right, and Suarez up top. I think, however, if you can shift and we're allowing to pick any 3, I'd go Torres probably up front and Suarez on the left and Salah on the right.
I agree.
Thank you, Tom.
I love Bobby Firmino.
I love Bobby Firmino. Who doesn't?
I think if I was to go like just heroes of mine, I'd go Firmino, Torres, and Suarez.
Okay, fair enough. You're not a fan of Salah, not a fan of Mane.
I love him.
Going with, like, peak performance, like not that because I like Firmino more than I'd like Salah.
Yeah, I often dream about Firmino, just like coming into my dreams randomly. So like, I think my most recent one was he worked in a coffee shop, and it was like, "Oh, you're right, Bobby."
That's quite cool.
For real?
Yeah. I love Bobby Firmino.
Josh, you know when he was leaving? Do you remember it made the news? The game at Leicester, King Power, last year. It was one of his last games for Liverpool. The away fans chanted the "Si Senor" song for genuinely half an hour. I was there. And we sung literally for 30 minutes straight, like "Si Senor, give the ball to Bobby and score." And like I was literally like, they did it for like 3 minutes and everyone just carried it on. And then he came over at the end and he was like dancing while we were singing it. And it was when I was in prep last year, me and Sanai both went. And it was honestly like probably my favourite memory of like going to watch a game because it's away from home. It's Leicester, King Power. I'm in the away end section. And like Firmino's literally there dancing and we've just sung his song for 30 minutes. It was amazing.
Amazing.
Yeah.
I think, look, being a Liverpool fan in general is just pretty amazing. But when you've got heroes like that, it's like Origi, love him, but he's not a very good footballer, let's be honest. Just love him.
Yeah.
Enough about Liverpool. Reece, do you reckon you'd be a top pro in the naturals if you'd have stayed natty? # serious.
You said maybe.
I would say yeah, definitely.
Do you reckon?
Yeah.
I haven't seen any photos of Reece like peak natty.
Oh mate, it's on YouTube.
Okay.
Yeah, Josh, I was pretty good. Like I was all right. Like I was.
Reece, you were very, very good. Very good. There's if you want to look, there's some stuff of Reece in his younger years, and you would look at it and go, he'd take top 3 in the British finals at 16, 17 years old.
Mad. That is pretty mad.
I always just had stupid doubts. Like it was just stupid doubts.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'd say yeah, potentially. Like I feel like it's one of those. If I could go pro natty, so if I could go pro assisted, which that's the goal over the next few years, which I imagine would probably happen, I'll probably go pro nat. I would have gone pro natty. You know, it would just be a case where I probably would have stayed within men's physique. Like, I wouldn't have been able to put the tissue on.
Yeah. Right, we'll make this the last question and then we'll wrap up the podcast because I've just seen it. We're an hour and 20 in.
Oh, what's
usually the longest podcast yet?
Yeah, congratulations.
Sorry.
M. Arcus Murphy. I think he's trying to be clever with his Instagram handle. Would you rather eat shit-flavoured chocolate or chocolate-flavoured shit?
Oh,
that's dumb.
Yeah, chocolate flavoured.
That's easy.
Yeah, chocolate flavoured shit, 1,000,000%. Because it's
shit flavoured chocolate, 100%.
I would go for chocolate flavoured shit.
Yeah.
Oh, you boys are disgusting. Shit flavoured chocolate all day.
Before we did this podcast, me and Annabella were sat watching.
Sat eating chocolate flavoured shit.
Sat eating each other's shit, and we were like, "Oh my god, this tastes like chocolate." No, we sat watching another podcast on YouTube, and they were literally like just talking about, "Oh, do you go to the toilet? Like, do you stand up when you have a piss?" And then one of them was like, oh, I get quite like a bit of stage fright, so I go and sit down. Rumour has it, Reece, you suffer from the same stage fright.
How do you know this?
How do you what? Why do you know that?
No, I okay. I don't in front of Sanaya. I'm sound. No. But I am very much like I make a joke about it because if it ever does happen at shows, I'm like, oh well, I've said it a million times, So it's like, oh yeah, it just happens. So like, if I'm in the vicinity of like, if there's loads of people just going for like a piss, I'm sound. But it's if there's like one of the dude and he's like,
yeah.
And like you can hear if he's pissing, I can even get it. Like that's when I'm like fully in my head. So if I go and watch Liverpool and like let's say I go to a pub or whatever and I'm going to the toilet and there's like 10 people in there, sound, I'm cool. But if there's like one or two, or a guy comes in distracting me, Ultraflex Rotherham, the urinals. If I haven't started and someone comes next to me, I will stop and be like, "Yeah, you finish, bro. There's no chance I'm gonna not gonna be able to go for a wee until you're done."
Is it the fear of someone hearing you piss?
No, I just don't know why. It's just like disconnect.
It's just the awkwardness, innit?
Yeah. Like I'll be straight up. I'm going to get myself cancelled here. Every single girl, it's Sanaya included. First time's never great because it's like I'm just like, oh, I get like almost like stage fright, and I don't know why because I'd say I'm very confident. You boys probably can perceive that, but for some reason, it's like this connection where something if something down there needs to work, and it's like right, it's one other person, it doesn't work. If there's loads, orgies, I'm fine. Trust me. Like if there's like loads of people, yeah, I'm game. But when it's just one, and I'm like, God, I hope she or I hope he knows that I can piss. I
can't. Or they.
Yeah, or they.
They. Yeah. Oh, God. Oh, I'm glad that you gave us a really in-depth response to that one, Reece.
Yeah. Where did you hear? Sorry, I want to know. Who's feeding you this information, bro?
That's top secret information, mate.
Okay.
Someone once told me at Ultraflex that they went into the toilets and you was on your phone whilst having a pee.
I do that I do it to distract me.
Yeah. I was like, oh, it must be like a nervous thing.
Yeah.
You're just watching a random YouTube video.
No. I will literally I'll scroll through Twitter or something to try and distract me genuinely.
Crazy. I struggle going to urinals. I just find them quite it's not a very relaxing process. I like to have a sit down wee.
Oh, mate, really?
So what if you go into like a cubicle, you won't stand up, you'll sit down and go.
If
at home, will you stand up and pee, or do you sit down all the time?
Sit down all the time.
Wow. Really?
Yeah.
So you got to tuck your little fella between your legs and push it down.
And away we go.
That's wild. I think that's such a waste of time.
Yeah, that's weird.
No, it's an investment of time because you feel fulfilled. You don't get the splash. It's a lot tidier. It's a lot more relaxing. Boys. Feels like more of an event.
Reece, do you lift up the seat or keep the seat down? Risk it.
I say I'd lift it up, but Sanaya would disagree. She'd be like, "No, you don't."
No, you don't.
I think it depends how much you need to go. Like if you're bursting, it's staying down.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah. If it's bursting, it's lucky I'm even in the bathroom.
You've got a garden now, mate. Just straight out there.
In my accommodation in Leeds, the first one that I was in, there was like a sink in my room, and every night I'd wake up and I was like, because it was shared accommodation, there was only one shared bathroom, and I was like so tempted to be like, it's a sink, I'm not going to use it.
Did you use it?
Once.
Yeah, come on. I had a sink in my room at uni. I used it. Yeah, it's fucking great.
You just it's like it wouldn't be in a normal if it was at 6 p.m, 7 p.m. Let's say in the day, I'd be sound. So when you wake up in the middle of the night, and you're like,
yeah,
I ain't getting. I just want to. I'm not in much clothes. I don't want to try and risk bumping into someone that I live with and being like, oh, you're right, it's 2 a.m. Like I'm somewhat naked, you're somewhat naked. Like, do you want to kiss or can I go for a wee? Like it wasn't really like that. It was like sink it is, And then when you had a random guy stay over, it was always guys, and they were washing their hands, and I was washing their face. I was like, be careful there, bro. Oh, uni was great. I loved it. One day I just stayed in my room and didn't go outside and didn't eat off plan. I just fucking loved it. Wow.
Yeah, you didn't need to. You just pissed in your sink.
Oh,
God. Right, an hour and a half. Congrats.
Yeah, thank you so much. I've enjoyed it. Sorry if I've chatted for too much or whatever.
No,
mate, it's been beautiful.
It has. It's been wonderful. I knew it would be like this. So, yeah, I'm very grateful for you giving us an hour and a half of your time. It is always a pleasure. We need to see each other more often. In fact, you know what? You can come on the podcast every single month if you want.
Oh, great.
You don't need to do your little silly one that you do.
Can I ask, Josh? You said something that you were gonna. I think before we videoed or something, you were gonna explain it in the podcast. Me and Finn. What was that about? You said something at the start. You were like, "Oh, you and Finn." You mentioned something.
It was my idea of us going for a beer and doing a podcast in a pub.
There we go.
Yeah.
So I didn't know if you covered that. I thought it might have been. But yeah,
Well,
that's
the
that.
fans are going to go wild for it. They're going to be like, "Oh my god, let's make it happen!" Like, pubs are going to get in touch and sponsor it, and it's going to be amazing.
That M.Arc, whatever his name is, like the guy asked the question. Yeah.
M.Arcus Murphy.
Yeah, Marcus. Yeah, fantastic. Marcus M.Arcus coming soon.
Yeah, it's coming.
Love it.
Right, Reece, tell the people where they can find you.
Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, Snapchat, YouTube. No, I post on Instagram. I have a YouTube that I should really post on more. So now I need to edit a few videos that I've done that I'm paying her for in Starbucks, and she still hasn't edited them. So I don't know what the fuck she's doing. So yeah, ReeceFit on all available platforms that I actually can be bothered to post upon. Coaching slots available. That's that. Much love. See you later. Bye-bye. Class.
Your
Lovely.
signal has gone dreadful. Tom, are you getting that?
Yeah,
Or is it mine?
I can still see him. Josh, I can hear you. I can see you fine. Reece is currently
great.
frozen at the moment.
You.
Yeah. Right.
Can you hear me, Ross?
Oh, he's now gone. Reece. Oh, great. Oh no. We're going to lose his file.
Right. I can
Reece,
hear you. We can hear
Don't
you.
do anything. Guys, thank you for listening. Like and subscribe. We will see you in the next one.